Hello there. So, going a little further with our mathy stuff, I want to show you how to adjust the value of a variable. This is something that comes up quite a lot. So, let's say you've got a value of a variable and you want to add to it or subtract from it, or so just changing the value of this variable by doing an operation. This isn't the same as using the variable like in an expression. This is saying, I've got this value and I want to change it. Okay. So here would be an example of how you would take your variable and add a value to it and save it again. So this doesn't work the way it would in algebra. Like, let's say the value of my variable is currently 5, and I want to add 2 to it. Well, I would do my variable plus 2 equals my variable. So what that does is it takes the old value and adds to it and saves it again. Okay. Same thing here. I'm not going to go through all of these. Okay. But let's say the value of my variable was 50 and this was 5. So I would do 50, the value of my variable, minus 5 is now saved as my variable. So it's taken the value of my variable and reduced it by 5. You can also do the same thing with multiplication, division, or even modulus, which doesn't come up too often, but every once in a while you'll see this. You can also do this with strings. So if you have a string, you've got this big thing of text, and you want to accumulate stuff onto it. You can do the string plus a value, or plus like another string, equals the string again. So it just takes the old string and adds a little something onto it. If you're not seeing what I'm saying, you'll see when we get to our examples here in a minute. Also, these come up so often that we have a shortcut with a compound operator. So this variable plus value equals variable can be rewritten as variable plus equals value. So what that does is it says, I'm going to add this value and then I'm going to set it equal. That's the plus equals. So I'm going to add to my variable and then save it again. Same thing with minus equals, times equals, divided equals, modulus equals. And this plus equals, one of the most common things you're going to want to do is say, well, I just want to add 1. Okay, I just want to increase by 1. This happens a lot in loops where you're just wanting to keep a counter on something like, hey, how many times has this happened? And so we even have a shorter shortcut in Java, which is variable plus plus. All that does is it adds 1 to whatever variable it is. That should look familiar, like in our for loops. We always have that. Also, variable minus minus does the same thing, just subtracts 1. So it subtracts 1 and saves it. Okay, it modifies the value of that variable by 1. Okay, if you're not sure what's going on, let's look at an example. So let's say we have a variable that it's this number and it's 100. So when I call this, what's going to happen? Well, it evaluates this right side first. And it says, okay, my number is 100. 100 plus 5 is 105. And you're telling me you want to store that in number. So number becomes 105. So all that to say, it was 100. And now we've modified it by adding 5 to it. Okay. And then plus 1, minus 10, plus 1, times 2, divided by 3. All of these were modifying the value. So let's take a look at what this looks like when we run it. So here's number. Number plus 5 equals number. plus 1 minus 10 plus 1 times 2 divided by 3. There you go. Down here, we're doing the exact same thing. The only difference is we're using compound operators this time. So instead of number equals number plus 5, we're writing it, okay? Instead of number equals number plus 1, we're making it real short, number plus plus, okay? And this is subtracting 10. What's this doing? Subtracting 1 times equals 2. So that's multiplying it by 2 and saving it. Divided equals 3, dividing it by 3 and saving it. So this is going to come up a lot, especially in loops, where we're not going to want to redefine a whole new variable. All we want to do is have this variable that's keeping track of something, and we're just modifying it by using one of these operations. So I hope that makes sense to you.